finding your niche, like getting that niche clarity. And that's what I want to help you with, because we can just start to imagine how much like that's holding us back. You know, like we're not taking any action at all because it's almost like we're in this like whole identity crisis. Who am I? What do I do? Who do I serve? Right? What am I here for? And I really want to help you with this. So I'm very excited. So that is the intention. Actually, I got to move a little thing out of my way here. There we go. The intention is really simple for this workshop. It is to identify your niche. And what that really means is it's who you're here to serve, or if you don't like the word serve, who you help, who you want to help, who's your customers, who do you sell to, and how you help them. Like that's how simple this can be. And that's the thing. You're going to hear this over and over again. I have a very unique approach to this. And I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of people. This process works. So you have to keep an open mind and open heart, and realize that even though this is something that maybe some of you have struggled for a very long time. In fact, let's start there. I'm just curious, how long, months, years, have you struggled with nailing your niche? Yeah. So I've had, I think 10 or 11 years is the winner so far, but you guys can see it all in the chat box. Okay. So 12 years. Yeah. 3 years. 2 to 3 years, 6 years, 10 years, 20. So for some of you, a lot of you, this has been a big problem for a long time. And what a magical, exciting gift that this doesn't even have to take the end of today. I said 3 hours. We don't even have to go 3 hours. This could take 10 minutes from now. And what we've tend to be ingrained in part of our belief system that we've adopted in our society is that things that are valuable and important need to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I really hope we can start by shifting that belief for you today, to give yourself permission to make this so easy and so simple. This does not need to take effort at all from you. In fact, I'm here to offer that it's been taking effort from you to prevent you from knowing your niche. And a lot of times, just letting go of those fears, those blocks, those negative or limiting beliefs is what's going to allow for the clarity that you're looking for. And so I really hope you're all willing to start there, that no matter how long you have struggled with this, or no matter how long you haven't known your niche, that this can happen for you like that in an instant. But you must be willing to give yourself the permission to do that. I can't give you that permission. You have to choose to make it easy yourself. And I really hope you will. Now, it's going to come down to answering a minimum of 2 of the 4 following questions. Thank you, Joanne. Permission granted. Mariam, thanks for the trust. Okay, and Coach Glitter, who's here with us, we'll introduce some of our coaches in just a moment, but I like to just jump right into things, right? The identifying your niche is going to come down to me asking you to get specific on at least two of the following 4 questions. Who specifically do you serve? What problems specifically do you solve? How specifically do you serve this audience? And why specifically you and your stuff? Now, don't try and answer these questions right now, but please take a moment and write down all 4 of these questions on a piece of paper. Now, if you don't have paper, now's the time to get something to take notes with. I didn't really tell you, I just kind of jumped into it today. But anything to take notes with is going to be great, okay? Let's see. Okay, so you're going to write down those 4 questions, and our intention is before the end of tomorrow, you can confidently, comfortably answer minimum of 2 of those 4 questions. Now let's just get you guys to get committed to that. Is that something that you guys can commit to before the end of tomorrow? And just if that's a yes, then type it in. Perfect. Now, what I asked, as you guys are all typing yes, I said, is that something you can all commit to? So what does the very word commitment mean? Does anyone want to give me their definition of the word commitment? And you just put it in the chat box. Yeah, Ben says to follow through when you say you'll do something, putting words into action. Yeah, walk the talk, dedication, do whatever it takes. Christina, absolutely. Whatever it takes, no matter what. Absolutely. Good, good. Now, so there is a line, right? There's a line where my commitment ends and yours begins. I can share this content. I'll be able to answer as many questions as I possibly can over the next 2 days. We're gonna have plenty of time for that. We'll have time to unmute you guys and chat and coach and all this amazing stuff. But there is a line where my commitment ends and yours begins. And so I'm here fully in my commitment to bring it 110%. And hopefully you'll see that even by the end of today. And then we have a whole nother day tomorrow where we'll just do whatever needs to get done. And then hopefully you'll see where your commitment is that there's when you're taking radical responsibility for your life and your business, you're going to have some choices that you're going to need to make. You're going to have to make some decisions about what you're willing to do and who you're going to go help and do it. And getting clear, and we'll get clear and clear as we move forward on what that line is of where my commitment ends to you and where your commitment to yourself begins. And at the end of these 2 days, if you still don't know with absolute clarity and confidence what your niche is, if you don't feel like you've nailed it, you can write this down. We'll put it in or we'll have one of our coaches do it for you. Email Rose. Rose's name is ROSE at customersuccess@jameswedmore.com, and you can request a refund. I wouldn't even know. Okay, I'm not going to take it personally, but if at the end of these 2 days you can honestly look me in the eye or look Rose in the eye and say, I still don't know my niche after everything James went through, I'm more than happy to give you a refund. Now, why I wanted to start that, so thank you, Jilly, for posting it, is that I want you guys to take any of that weight or pressure off of your shoulders. Can we just do that right now? Like, not feel like, I gotta do this, right? It's like there's just no risk on the table. It's either gonna happen in 2 days or less, or you're gonna get your money back and you're gonna get to keep the recordings. So there's no pressure. In fact, I'm gonna also argue that it's that pressure you've been putting on yourself that's actually been preventing the clarity that you're looking for, okay? So those are the 4 questions. Did I give you guys enough time to write those 4 questions down? Because those are what we're gonna investigate and look at from multiple angles for the next 2 days. Good, okay, I'm just gonna move my chat box out of the way. You'll see me like leave the keynote, come back multiple times. So, okay, so that's our intention. Let's see what I got next for you. Now here's the thing. You don't actually have to niche down, as they say. You might have been led to believe that you have to. You don't. You actually don't. You can actually be successful. You can make money being broad. It's just not going to be as easy. Niching down just makes it easier for you. It makes it easier to communicate what it is you do, choosing the language, the messaging, your avatar and your audience. It will make things easier. People will understand faster what it is that you do. They'll get it. Things will click. Ironically, niching down is also feels more uncomfortable. So what you'll begin to notice is as you niche down, if you choose to, so I'm also letting you like have permission to not niche down if you don't want to. And I know that's kind of bizarre, but you can be successful staying broad. I just don't think as successful, and it's going to be more of an uphill battle. So if you like to make things easier, which I'm a fan of making things easier, you'll do that. However, ironically, the paradox here, the niche paradox, is that the more you niche down, the more uncomfortable it's going to feel. And we're going to address all this discomfort. It's just kind of this like weird feeling, like it feels off. And we actually want to lean into that and notice that, because that's an indicator we're moving in the right direction. A lot of what I'm going to share is counterintuitive. That's good that it's counterintuitive. I I think all business and success, and especially in this industry, is very counterintuitive. I can get into all my reasons why, but that's the short version. So it usually goes the opposite of what we think is common sense. So let's just check in really quick right now into the chat box. If I could have everybody here, just what level do you know your niche right now on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the absolute clarity, certainty, confidence, and 1 is not at all. And just so I'm just kind of checking in. Cool. So we're all across the board. Look at that. Yeah, got it. So please write it down for you as well. Whatever you typed into the chat box, please write it down on your piece of paper, because this will be nice to see as we go through this training. Does that number go up? Is it going down? I hope it's not going down, right? So we got some people doing some ranges. You can do like a 0.5 if you like 7 or 8, or just 7.5, right? Okay, great. But this is a nice place to know where we're starting. Okay. Very good. Okay, cool. And then now I'm going to ask you a question. And this is that, like, we're going to address all this, but go ahead and just answer whatever's coming up for you. What is preventing you from being at a level 10 with niche clarity right now? Yeah, and I'm just going to kind of, yeah. I'm just kind of looking at some of these. And just keep writing. I'm just kind of trying to speed read these as much as I can. Okay, very good. Yeah. All right, good. We still got a few more coming in. And I'm going to tell you right now what looks like the biggest, most common answers to this question. For a lot of people, it's something around fear. Okay? There's a lot of different fears coming up. Imposter syndrome, a lot of fear. And yeah, Tiffany said it. Thank you for your honesty. Really, seriously, guys. Okay. Alexander, you have a picture of me on your wall? That's awesome. Wow, next to Neville Goddard. I'm very flattered. Wow. Okay, so fear is a big one. We're going to address this. Okay, so stay with me. Don't worry. And I get that. Fear is absolutely what's preventing most of us. So thank you for the honesty. Another one was too many ideas, too many options. We're going to address that one as well. Okay. In fact, we can just start to consider right now is that's actually a really good thing. Imagine if there was only one way to make opportunities, to make impact, to make money, like it's so many choices. It's like going to a buffet in Las Vegas and saying, I could have anything here. I could have lobster. I could have filet mignon. I could have salmon, like all these options. And then we just sit there and go, so I don't eat anything because I don't know which to pick, right? And that's what we'll find is what the big problem is for so many people is they've made the decision to do nothing, to be an indecision. And indecision, doing nothing, is the only guaranteed way to get no results. No results equals failure, right? So yeah, we're gonna definitely deal with all of this today. I'm very excited.
Whether you're beginning, whether you're in the middle, whether you've been doing this a while, this is going to be huge. And I feel blessed to call him friend, call him mentor, call him a colleague. He surfs, I paddle. We're friends all the time, and it's it. I spent a lot of time with thought leaders, helping them craft their content and their positioning out in the marketplace. So yeah.
Yes, and we're going to bring Mel on in a little bit. He's going to help teach a framework of his that's going to blow your minds. So you'll hear more from Mel in a second. But again, that's Nikki, Mel, Kat, and Tiffany. I introduced them to you now because they are here for the next 2 days for you. I can't do the work that I'm doing alone. When people say, like, how are you able to reach so many people and build to the size you have? I say, because I don't do it alone. And I am honored and blessed to have extraordinary people in my life who are like right there in the trenches by my side to help. And so as you guys can see, there's over 400 people tuning in live, and I didn't want it to be James versus 400. It's James and my coaches with you guys, supporting you. So they're going to do their best to help out in the comments and stuff. So if you hear them or, see what they say, pay close attention. They work with a lot of clients. They know what they're doing, and they have such big hearts. They're here to help. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to keep going. Thanks for a little bit of the house cleaning stuff. Okay. Hey, I also want to talk about some of my past niches, because that helps. I think the more examples I can give you, which I have plenty of examples, the more that's going to help, right? So here's a little fun facts about my past niches. Like I said, I've been doing this for 12 years. Guess what my first niche was? Bartending. Yeah, bartending. That's how I got my start 12 years ago. November of 2007, I had a light bulb bing pop right up above my head. I said, I know. I'm going to create an online bartending school. I also created a product on mobile bartending, which is how to get paid to bartend at weddings and get clients. I had a product, an ebook on how to get more tips. I even had a product, an ebook on how to create your bartender resume so you could get hired at your dream bartending job. Talk about a niche for bartenders who want to improve their resume. This was like a $27 ebook. And you could Google, back in the day, you could just Google bartender resume. My sales page would come up, and I was making $27 sales like every day. It was amazing. So talk about a niche, right? Now, bartenders don't have a lot of money, especially those that are looking for a bartending job and they're not a bartender yet, don't have a lot of money. And bartending wasn't really my passion. It was just at that point in my life, that was the only thing I knew how to do. So I moved away from it, and I went stumbling around a bit. But here's a little known fact that I actually went into the relationship advice marketplace and specifically started with a product. Don't laugh. No laughing at me. You can laugh with me, not at me. Get your ex back. I was approached by a gentleman who had written a book on how to get your ex back. And he had all the content and all the experience with relationships, which I didn't at the time. And he said, will you help me market this? And we took this to a multi-six-figure business selling a $97 video course on how to get your ex back. Judge it how you want, laugh all you want, but it did extraordinarily well. And it's a great example of a great niche. And then from there, we created an entire suite of additional products. We branched it out for men specifically, how to get your ex-girlfriend back, and females specifically, how to get your ex-boyfriend back, right? Then we created like another dating product, and then like how to, get the love back in your relationship. Like, it created an entire suite of additional products that went along with it. But for me, that wasn't where my heart was. But I was learning a lot about marketing, about business, about what I did want, what I didn't want, right? And we're going to get into that more, because that might be where you're at, is like kind of testing the waters, figuring out what you like or don't like. The next thing was I started teaching social media for real estate agents. This happened completely by accident. But I had done all this social media stuff for the first two businesses. And my dad is a real estate agent in Southern Orange County. And he asked me to teach his office about how to use Twitter and Facebook back in 2009, 2010. And this is a crazy story. So I went into his office and I started teaching like just how to set up Twitter and Facebook, right? And the president of the company happened to come in. This is a national chain, Prudential Realty. They're not around anymore. They merged with Berkshire Hathaway. So the president comes in, sees me doing a presentation on social media, and invites me to speak at all the different offices around Southern California. And all of a sudden, overnight, I was the social media for real estate guy. What was really fascinating is as soon as I started teaching it to real estate agents and how they could apply it to selling more homes, I'd get all these phone calls and emails, and people would reach out in other niches, other businesses, like, hey, I'm a dentist, or hey, I'm a lawyer, or I do this in this town, or I'm a plumber here, and will you teach me? I heard you're teaching this social media stuff, right? And so we'll address this later on, but a lot of times we think that narrowing down means we're going to limit our customers. And that is so the opposite. It's so not true. It's the gateway. It's the doorway into working with people. Okay. And then by 2011, in fact, it was September of 2011, I launched a little product called Video Traffic Academy. Video Traffic Academy was a $97 product teaching online business owners, people using the internet to market their business, how to use YouTube to get more clients. Video Traffic Academy. Any VTA customers here? 2011, in the first 30 days, we sold over $400,000 worth of that program. That program went on to do multi-million dollars in sales, and it put me on the map as the go-to YouTube and video marketing guy in the industry. This was the first time in my online business career that I felt what we would call alignment. And I want you to write that word down, alignment. I was in alignment with my desires, my intentions, and what was in my heart for the first time. By the way, this is 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5 years. It took me 5 years to get to the first place where I was like, this is what I was put here to do. 5 years, okay? Now the difference is, and you're gonna learn this today, I want you to write this down. Action creates clarity. We'll go over this later in more greater detail, but action creates clarity. Did I wait 5 years? Did I sit on my couch for 5 years waiting for a neon sign to tell me what I was put here to do? No. In fact, what gives me goosebumps to this day is when I look back from this point of the YouTube guy and I look back at those 5 years, everything I had done up until that point, that moment had been preparing me for that. Everything. You see, when I was doing the relationship advice stuff, one of the ways that we built a business was I was doing all this stuff on YouTube. When I started working with real estate agents, the biggest thing they wanted to do was to make their own YouTube channel. So they had home virtual tours. So I was spending all my time with video and YouTube. And that's where I realized, whoa, this is what I really love doing. I love making videos. I love teaching video. I want to help other people get seen on camera. And it took me 5 years. But I guarantee you this, I would have never gotten to that point where I had it turned into a multi-7-figure a year business teaching video, $97 products, if I hadn't had that 5 years of action first. And some of the mistakes that struggling entrepreneurs are making is they're unwilling to take action until they have clarity. That is backwards. If you are waiting for clarity until you take action, you are doing it backwards. And clearly, if you don't have the results, then that's the indicator that that is a broken strategy. Action creates more clarity. I was willing to go in the wrong direction, the wrong niche, just something, anything, whatever, knowing that inevitably in time it would move me towards what I truly wanted, because you cannot move a parked car. Something that is not in motion, you can't change. Okay? But I didn't stop there. By the way, I built out an entire suite of products from that one niche, teaching people how to do iPhone videos, teaching people how to do a sales video. I had a product that was wildly successful as well called 48-Hour Film School, which is simply how to make your first video by the end of tomorrow. It was a pretty cool product, did extraordinarily well. I also created a program called Local Video Academy, which showed people how they could start an agency business using video, how they could go to local businesses and sell those local businesses videos. Notice that one niche turned into all these other different niches, all these other different products and offers, right? So I'm here first to give you some examples of my own journey, hopefully getting the wheels turning, getting some ideas going, right? Hopefully. And obviously I didn't stop there today with Business by Design. I teach, the digital course expert, the product creator, how to launch and scale their digital businesses, right? So that evolved as well. Okay, let's check in right here. The only successful niches out there are online marketing and make money. On a scale 1 to 10, 10 being absolute true, for you, how true does that feel right now? 10 being, oh, I agree with this 100%. Okay, good. Good, I'm not getting, there was 1 6, there was a 10 and a 7, 5 7. Okay, good, good. Yeah, perfect. Okay, good. This is a common thing I hear, so I wanted to make sure that we addressed it. Okay, this couldn't be further from the truth. I want you to consider that the only reason why you might be thinking this and telling yourself this limiting belief in this story, this falsehood, is because you are their target audience. Just consider that one for a moment. You probably, every time you log on Facebook, you see someone else teaching or selling something on how to make money, how to do a funnel, how to do a launch, how to sell a product, how to do this, and how to that, right? Because you're their audience. In other words, if you're not a pet owner, you probably don't see too many offers for pet owners, right? If you're not a marathon runner, you probably don't see too many offers for how to run a marathon. But because you're their avatar, they're really good at marketing to you. And there's a lot of them. In fact, this is, and I've had this conversation with many people and they all agree, this is going to be the hardest niche to be in because it is the most competitive, it is the most saturated, it moves the fastest, and the people who are in it are really, really, really good at what they do. And if you're telling yourself this story that that's the only way that you can do this, like start an online business, is if you're teaching online business, it's going to be a big uphill battle. That doesn't mean you can't. But if you're like brand spanking new, I would never recommend that. Notice I was doing stuff in other niches for quite a long time, right? So let me give you some more examples of this. So hopefully we can let go of this limiting belief once and for all. First of all, I just had Patty on the podcast. I cannot wait for you to hear this episode. Patty is one of my favorite clients. It has been such an honor and a privilege to work with her. When she and I met 4 years ago, she joined my mastermind. She was just about $100,000 a year in her business. Art lessons for art teachers. She just retired from being an art teacher. 4 years ago, she was at 100,000 in revenue. And like, she thought that was, like amazing. Like she was at the top of the world. Today it's a multi 7-figure business. Art lessons to art teachers. Now, do art teachers have a ton of money? Are they known for being really wealthy? No. Does that mean you can't make money? Nope, not at all. By the way, just keep a note. In the next couple of weeks, her episode's going to go live and it's going to blow your minds. So good. Okay. Let's introduce you to Nicole. Nicole Begley teaches, get this for a niche, how to do pet photography. She teaches photographers how to take photos of pets or animals and how to build a business around it and build that skill. She has a $9,000 a month membership that she just started on top of a very successful several courses and launches she's done in the past. What a great niche, right? Here's John Akampora. John's been a member of my Inner Circle Mastermind for the last couple of years, and he teaches how to use Excel spreadsheets, which I just know nothing about. His audience is primarily, I guess you would say somebody in a corporate job that needs it as part of their career. Like they're in a job where they have to do spreadsheets, and he teaches them how to use it so they can, get a promotion or fulfill on their job requirements and stuff like that. And he's crushing it. Multi high six-figure a year business. Very awesome. Okay, let's go through a few more. If you guys saw or listened to my episode of the podcast that I linked up in your portal, Kathy Hay does corset making, which is basically like Victorian costume wear. And she has, I think, around 700 to 800 members a month, paying her, I think, $37 a month. Is that right? So let's say 7 times 37. Yeah, which is close to a $30,000 a month membership. Jason Brown, who teaches financial investments. We've had him on the podcast as well, the Brown Report. You can check him out there. Chris Vondermaiden, who has a program, which I've always loved the name, Zero to Zen. He teaches meditation. He teaches things like how to work with crystals. He teaches things like shamanic journeys and all this weird, fun stuff that if you're into is awesome. As well as Emily Aarons, a member of the Inner Circle as well, who teaches something like how to unlock your intuition, which is really cool, right? Bobby Klink, who's also one of our Inner Circle members, teaches like lawyer stuff, legal templates, which I just thought was a really unique, hook or angle. Here's one of my favorites, April Perry of Learn, Do, Become, a multiple 7-figure business with a $297 product, teaching people how to organize their home, how to clean up your house, how to organize. I mean, I'm oversimplifying it for a reason. Like what she does, she's created an amazing system that works. Learn, Do, Become. But it's home organizing. It's like how to organize your home office. Like if you have a desk at home where all the papers, she just has a course on how to do it. Jordan, who teaches, I wish I knew more about the specifics of his niche, but he teaches like music production, which I know nothing about, but how to like produce music. Levi, who has a multiple 7-figure business teaching guitar lessons. These are just some of the many amazing niches from our community inside Business by Design. And they have nothing to do with business. They can be, some do. I mean, Bobby's is legal templates for entrepreneurs. But hopefully just show you guys some of the possibilities that exist. Teresa Lowe is another one that comes to mind. She had a niche on food canning. Food canning. I didn't even know what food canning was, as well as home gardening. So plenty of great examples, right? Pretty cool. And I'm just going to kind of check in with the chat box a little bit. We had Serena Ryan. We did an episode with her on the podcast. And she teaches how to homeschool your kids, right? So awesome. Okay. So there's some great examples. So I want to jump into some things here. Let's do this here. So actually, I got to move my little guy out of the way. Sorry, guys. So I want to get some things straight. I don't know your niche. You guys get that, right? Like, I don't know your niche. I don't know. You may not know your niche, but that doesn't mean, or you may think you don't know your niche, but I don't know your niche either, which means I'm not going to tell you your niche. Okay. I'm not going to tell you your niche. I'm also not going to give you permission. You may want to notice how many of you have come here and maybe you do know your niche, but you're looking for permission, or you think you need permission. Here's a story I tell at my live events that is coming up for me, so I'll share it here with you. You guys looked at my history of my niches, and you heard that for so long, video was like my passion. Well, I joined a mastermind and I paid a coach a lot of money. And I first released my first video product. I was so nervous. I was so scared. I was freaking out. Everything, all the stuff comes up, guys, for you, okay? Like, it's normal. Who am I to be doing this? What if nobody likes it? What if it's not good enough? What if I'm not good? All of that comes up. And if it's not, like, I don't know, you're a superhuman. I want to learn from you, right? But that all came up for me. The moment I put this first video product out, I get an email from this person. And they said, I saw you put out this video course. Who said you could do that? We already have someone teaching video. I don't want two people teaching video. I was so embarrassed. I was so ashamed, like self-loathing. Like I felt like such an idiot that I took it all down. I took it down. And I don't blame this person. It's not their fault. I take responsibility in my life. And what I realized in hindsight is that I was operating from a permission-based world. I mean, we were raised in a permission-based world. Think about it. Growing up, you have to ask permission to go to the bathroom. Like bodily functions have requirements, and you have to ask someone who's bigger and older than you if you can use the bathroom. You have to ask permission to ask a question. You have to ask permission to do everything and anything. And, you know, graduating from one grade to the next, it's all permission. And then we just don't question that need for permission, and we go out and become an entrepreneur because we want freedom. And it's like we're sitting here with all the freedom right in front of us, but we're still waiting for someone to give us permission. And this is like the beautiful, harsh truth, is that no one is ever going to give you permission. I'm not going to give you permission, and no one else is. There is no mayor of the internet or a mayor of the marketplace that is dubbing some people in authority and others not. And if that's like really upsets you that you're not going to get the permission, it's actually really freeing because you don't need it. You can choose today to completely opt out of the permission-based world that you've been living in. You don't need it. That the people that are already successful and owning their niche and positioning themselves as the authority never got permission. They just decided to do it. They created that same commitment that you guys were talking about here 20 minutes ago. They committed to doing it. They decided to do it, and they did it. And yes, every single one of them, and you too who have the courage to actually go out once you've declared your niche and then share it with the world, you're going to face rejection. You're going to face ridicule. You're going to face negativity, right? All the stuff that's probably been preventing you from going out thus far, which for me, for a long time, really helped me or kept me from putting my stuff out there. But you're also going to get out there and help a lot of people. I want you to imagine or call an image to your mind and just pretend you're sitting on like the most beautiful, pristine beach or lake. You're sitting there, you can feel your toes on the sand. You can hear the sound of the seagulls or the birds overhead. You can feel the feeling of the wind blowing through your hair. You can even smell the salt water. And as you look around on this beach or this lakefront, you notice that there's no one there but you. And you've got this whole place to yourself. And then in the distance, you hear something. You hear someone's cry for help. And as you look, you notice that there is somebody out in the water and they're drowning. There's someone out there in the water right now and they're drowning. And with their last few breaths, they are screaming for help. And again, you look around. You look down the beach, you look up the beach, there is no one in sight but you. So what do? In this moment, when you know for a fact that you're the only person that could help and save this person's life, what do you do? Are you waiting for permission? Are you concerned about how you look? Are you worried about what they might think of you? Or do you make a beeline for this person? Do you just jump straight into the water and go and save this person's life? Now I want you to imagine that is what you do, that you go straight for it, and even feel what's tugging you, what's pulling you. Some people have already said this. I'm already swimming there before you said it. And I want you to imagine that you get there and you save this person's life. Maybe there was a boat. Maybe you had a jet ski. Maybe you had a dinghy. Maybe you had a boogie board or a surfboard. Maybe you didn't have anything at all, but you didn't even bother taking your clothes off. You just jumped straight in the water and you made a beeline for this person and you saved their life. Now, as you bring this person to shore and you check their vitals and they're okay, do they care about how you looked? Do they care about your branding? Do they care about your title, what you called yourself? Do they even care about how you saved them? Like if you showed up in a little rusty old dinghy, do they care? Or are they just grateful for the fact that you helped them? You see, and if you guys had your eyes closed, you guys can open them. Hopefully what you noticed is that feeling, that pull inside of you when you have that desire to help somebody. And like I said, life is a choice. Life is always choice. All we have is this moment and the choice that we're going to make in this moment. So after this class, during this class, heck, on a break of this class, that's always the choice. Am I going to choose to operate from that feeling, which is just that like innate desire inside of me to help and save somebody's life? Because I'll tell you right now, no matter what niche you're in, no matter what market you're in, there are people out there that are drowning, that desperately need your help. Desperately. Yet most of the time, the choice we make is the choice of the selfish choice. The choice of, I hope I look good. I hope people don't think anything bad of me. I hope no one has any judgments or criticisms or blah, blah, blahs about me. That's all inward selfish thinking. It's small thinking. When you're more concerned about what other people think of you, you're not concerned about the person that needs your help. And I'll tell you right now, because for a lot of you, what was coming up, what's preventing you from choosing your niche is that fear. And a lot of that fear is what the rest of the world thinks of you. And if you're more concerned about what everyone thinks of you, you'll never be focused on that person whose life you could be saving. That's the choice you have in every single moment. My superpower, my secret weapon, I don't know anything more than you guys know. I wasn't born with any special talents or anything like that. I was the 225-pound overweight acne. I've got the picture to prove it on my phone. Insecure kid full of self-loathing that had no friends, didn't even go to his own high school graduation. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll stop sharing my screen. That was me, right? This is earlier this year. that was when I started my business. Okay. And I'll tell you right now, the only thing that got me over those fears, and I believe the only thing that's going to get you over those fears, is when you're operating from something that's bigger than those fears. When you're focused on something that's bigger than you. When you realize that this isn't about you. Now, it's nice to have money. Money's awesome. I love money. Money, 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 right? And so there's a lot of our own desires and stuff that, you know, I have a nice house. I've got 2 Teslas, not one, of course. I got 2. Get to go on fancy vacations. All that stuff's amazing. But it would be for nothing, for me, at least in my life, if I didn't get to see the difference, the impact that I was having in other people's lives. And whenever I get into my humanness, my small stuff, my fears, what gets me through that every single time is the idea that even right now, there is one person, at least one person on this class that's hearing what I say, that's going to receive what I'm saying, that's going to actually get what I'm saying, and they're going to go out and their life's going to be changed as a result of it. What's more important than that? What's more important than us making a positive change and impact on other souls, on other lives? Okay. So hopefully that offered something for you. I don't know. We have plenty of stuff like that we're going to go through, right? I also wanted to share a little image with you. This is kind of pretty. I don't know. I just Googled it. Chances are most of you have been sharing the story of I don't know my niche or I don't have a niche. And I want to make a metaphor for you that is really funny. Oh, Heidi, that's fantastic. By the way, some of you guys will start getting instant clarity. Some of you guys will already notice that your niche clarity went from a 2 to an 8. Okay. Some of you it'll take to the end of the call. Some of you guys are just going to be faster, and it's okay. There's no good, bad, right, or wrong. Just be present to it. Ideas will come in, and I have a few more things that will really help with that. But I want to offer a metaphor right now. We need to stop telling the story that I don't know my niche. We need to stop telling the story that I don't have a niche. Because what are you programming your subconscious mind when you tell that story? What you focus on is what you get, right? So this is a great analogy. Do you guys ever do this when it's cloudy out? Like right now it's cloudy out, right? Do you say things like, the sun didn't come out today? Does anyone do that? Right? Oh, the sun didn't come out today. Isn't that silly? Because that's a total BS, right? The sun totally came out today. The sun is there, you just can't see it. That doesn't mean it didn't come out. Oh, there's no sun today. Yes, there is. If there was no sun, it would be just dark, just as dark as it was during the night. So I want you to, if this works for you, use this metaphor through the duration of this class to realize that your niche actually is there. You just can't see it. It doesn't mean it's not there. Okay. I want you to try on a news story that you already know your niche. And by the way, you'll hear me say this a few times. Your niche will not be found in your head. I know it sounds cheesy. It's like a Hallmark card. I can get a little cheesy at times, but it is in your heart. I know it sounds so cheesy, right? But I say it because it's true. A lot of you guys might notice yourselves overthinking. Overthinking is the art of creating problems that don't exist. Okay, so get out of your head. You will not find your niche in your head. You will not find the greatest ideas, inspiration, the name of that book, the name of that product, that $1 million idea is not in your head. It's in your heart. I use intuition in my business. I teach my coaches to use intuition when they're coaching. It's the heart and the access that you have to your intuition is a far more powerful, wiser mind than the brain in your head. Okay? But what your head's going to do is just going to get into a lot of rational, logical thinking. But a lot of what your niche is about is coming from a place, and I'm going to check in here, so I hope you guys are still paying attention with me, because I'm throwing a lot at you really fast. I get that. But I have to assume, and I don't think it's much of an assumption, that if you're here, there's a desire for you to build a business around your niche. Most likely digital, not everybody here, but most of you, digital courses, a membership, a group coaching program. Maybe you want to run events. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe it's a software, right? Well, that desire is in there. Okay? So the desire is there. Now, If a desire is born within you to do this type of work, it already means that it's possible for you. In fact, I believe that everyone is here for a reason, for a purpose, for a specific function. And part of our life journey is to discover what that function is. Again, I can't figure it out for you. What an exciting journey to discover what it is. Okay, so that function does exist. And imagine how much like pressure you can take off your shoulders when you don't have to question if there's a niche for you or not, if there's a purpose for you or not. There is. It's just a matter of where it is. It's like, I lost my keys. I know they're in the house. I know they're there. I just don't know where yet. It's only a matter of time before I find them. And this is how I really, really want you guys to approach this. Now, I see a lot of questions that are coming in. I'm going to ask that you guys really stay as present as you can to what I'm saying, because you're not going to be as present when you're asking a question. We will get to questions. So let's check in. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolute certainty and confidence, 1 being a no. So 10 is a yes, a hell yes, 1 is a hell no. Where do you fall on that scale? I haven't asked the question, Jenna. Where do you fall on that scale when I ask, do you believe that you're here for a purpose? Like here on, not in this webinar, here on this planet. Like there's a reason. Yeah, fantastic. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Beautiful. Now, I get that only the 10s are the ones that are going to want to share. I get that. I get that there are people here on this call that don't feel like they're 10, and probably now you see all these 10s or 11s don't want to share. And that's okay. I'm here to tell you that whether you think you're a 5 or a 2 or a 1, you are a 10. I mean, it's a fact. You weren't an accident. And every successful entrepreneur, every thought leader, every author, every single one of them, in the context of their life, in the background of their life, already knew that they were here for a reason. That you have work to do, work that needs to come through you, your unique perspective. See, the thing is, and for people who are scoring lower, you've lived your life, so you know it so well. And because you know it so well, you take it for granted. I took my life for granted. How many of you take things that come easy to you for granted? Or some of the challenges and the experiences that you've had, you take it for granted. And so then because you take it for granted, you don't value it. And if you don't value it, you assume ass out of you and me, you assume that other people wouldn't value it. It's time we start honoring and valuing the experience, the wisdom, the perspectives that we have, and to realize that other people on this planet need those perspectives as well.